welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Folks, it's our job to give you the most interesting tidbits in world sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across in this hour-long podcast. I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And, we're here to give you some interesting morsels and tasty treats for your mind here on this podcast we call the Crispy Noodle. Thank you guys for joining us on another crazy episode. We have lots of news to get to, especially in the sports realm. But before we get into all of that, Mikey, my friend, how you doing? What's happening in Costanzo country?
I'm doing well. This past weekend, I was attending a wedding in upstate New York for one of Jordan's cousins. So we were up in the, some no man's land in New York. My phone said
upstate New York, right? Is what you told me?
Upstate New York, about 4-ish hours north of the Philadelphia burbs. And at one point, my phone said, I didn't know it could do this. It said SOS only. It didn't say.
Yep, that's all you get.
There was no cell service or whatever, just SOS only ability, whatever that means.
So that's you can only make emergency calls.
Yeah, I never. My phone is now. It said no service before. If I'm like in the subway or something, but that was the first time I've ever seen SOS only. It made me feel very remote where we were.
Oh, now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
Yep, yeah. Exactly. That's it. You effed up.
I mean, there was nothing around. I mean, it was just forest. Like we were staying in this place in the middle of the woods. The closest people were like miles down the road, middle of nowhere, but it was beautiful. It was a fantastic wedding. It was in this very quaint, very secluded farm up again in the woods of upstate New York. It was just like picturesque, the whole thing, with the lights hanging everywhere, and you had it in, there's this barn there, and the food was amazing. It was just a barbecue buffet, so brisket and chicken and cornbread and collard greens and mashed potatoes. I mean, it was just like really like feel good. What I like to call like a rib sticking.
Yeah,
meal.
rib stickers.
Yeah, you just eat and you feel like you packed on a few pounds by the end of the meal, but you're feeling good doing.
Yeah,
so.
Those are the best meals.
Yeah. Sometimes you want the really like fancy stuff. Other times you just wanna have it stick to your gut. You know? And that's what it was.
I don't know if I told you this, but I went to a wedding recently, and one of the hors d'oeuvres that they had was chicken and waffles.
Ooh,
as an hors d'oeuvre.
That's good.
And I was thinking about that's not really like that. It wouldn't be that hard to replicate.
It's the perfect little finger food.
You would just need to get like those mini waffles from like the freezer section,
like a chicken nugget,
and then like cook up like a chicken nugget. And sprinkle some syrup. Like, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Like some like hot honey on it or something.
Oh, my gosh. I've been dying to think about. I've been thinking about, like, replicating that for my own personal kitchen.
I have a tiny waffle maker. I could make my own chicken and waffles because I just have, the breaded frozen chicken. Just whip up a tiny waffle and just...
All right, there you go.
I should do it.
We're going to do that this weekend.
I'm going to make myself chicken and waffles.
All right, I'm coming over.
All right. I'm going to make a big batch. That's right.
That's right. I'm coming whether you like it or not.
I love you very much. I'm going to come see you one day whether you like it or not.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, God, he's turning into Gary Busey.
I've already turned into Gary Busey already.
Good
Dear
Lord,
God.
help us.
Oh, no.
But yeah. So, no chicken and waffles for me, but it was a very nice evening. Good food, good music, good people, and it was just a great time up there in upstate New York. But I'm glad to be home in civilization, where I have cell service, and there's street lights.
Yeah,
that's very important.
So on the flip side, I also went on a little trip.
We're both at nature adventures.
Yeah, a friend of Rachel's had a hunter's cabin up in upstate Pennsylvania when we went there for the weekend. And yeah, I can attest, it gets really creepy when you're driving late at night and there's no street lights.
It is so creepy. Like those wooded back roads.
And then the GPS bails on you. And you're like,
man.
I hope I'm going the right way.
Rich, at one point, the roads turned to gravel roads. I'm like, oh, man, if anything happens, we are just screwed.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going. Yeah.
I can't do it, man. I grew up and lived my entire life in the burbs.
Yeah.
I've had street lights on my street from the day I was born, hopefully until the day that I die.
But
I don't want to live secluded like that.
Yeah, but like, see that it's even a different shade than that. It's like
Right.
since there's not any light pollution either when you get that far north.
Right.
It's dark. Like it's like
dark.
It's a dark.
There's no ambient light anywhere.
Yeah, like if you haven't driven that far out, it is a new type of dark.
Yes.
You haven't realized
Yes.
it.
It's
It gets
like
creepy.
It's like darker than when you close your eyes. Dark. It's like pitch black.
Yeah. So it's a fun drive. Go ahead, have some fun.
It was fun. It
Drive
was
for
scary.
3 hours. Have some fun.
We were convinced the Verbo we were staying in was a murder house.
Yeah. Murder mystery. There you go.
There's a locked door. It could be personal effects or it could be bodies. I don't know.
Right. And did anybody have a candlestick?
I'm
sure there were.
No, I mean maybe.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
just
know.
didn't know. Somebody had a candlestick.
So, what is it? Somebody had a candlestick. What are you talking about?
Clue. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's a murder. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Whatever. That went
Yeah.
over your head. All right. Screw it. All right. But I
I
guess
watched that movie recently too.
my personal update. I finished Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, so you're on Forbidden West
So
now.
I downloaded it and I'm ready to play it this weekend. So
Okay. So verdict on Zero Dawn.
I actually loved it.
It's a fantastic game, right?
Yeah, you had me worried because you kept telling me, "Oh, it's so stealthy. I don't know if you're gonna like
Well,
it."
the way I played it, I stealthed the whole thing.
see, that's the thing. You didn't mention that it's stealth optional.
I mean, I guess because I didn't think it could be played like a run and gun because for me, the enemies always seemed way too big and aggressive to just like roll up with a bow and arrow, but I guess you made more use of the bombs and like
yeah, there's the bomb weapon, and then there's like a shotgun kind of. There's like a blaster.
Okay.
It like shoots like 5 arrows at a time or something. I forget what it's called.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like it's more of a it's like their default shotgun kind of weapon.
Right.
So I had that equipped and the bombs and
Shotgun and bombs. That
I
sounds
was,
about right.
Yep, I was good to go. I was happy as can be. So
I mean, it's a good point. It's a good point for people out there who don't like stealth games. I guess it really is stealth optional.
yeah, I mean it's like one of those things. The game directs you to be stealthy, but you
Yes.
don't have to be.
Right. I think there are some missions where it's required, but I think they're not that many. Like all of them are kind of like you should do it stealth.
Yeah,
But if you don't, you can just struggle, fight your way through it.
right. I also played the Frozen Wilds because that was part of the
good
downloadable
stuff.
pack, so that was also fun. So, yeah, I feel like I'm caught up all the way up until the new game that came out. So I'm in. I think I have this down perfectly the way I want it to. I got the PS5. I caught up on Zero Dawn. I've downloaded Forbidden West. I'll play that for October, and then November is God of War.
There you go.
I think I've worked this all out. I think everything's coming to fruition.
This is a perfect 3 months of gaming for you. I mean, 2 Horizons and God of War doesn't get better than that.
Yep, I think I planned this out just right. So
Nice.
I feel good about myself. Take
Yeah,
that.
you should. Horizon's
Aha.
a great series.
Yes, I would say I would recommend. It was very fun to play. So there you go. That's what we've been up to in the past week or so. So now with all that out of the way, let's get to actual news, and we've got a lot in the sports sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
Oh yeah, sports coming at you in your face. And boy, we have a major news bulletin here for Philadelphia sports fans. Folks, I'm wearing red because for the first time in 11 years, for the first time since we've started doing the podcast, that's true. I looked that up. This is the first time I can say this since doing the podcast. We are going to watch postseason baseball for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Mamma mia!
Boobies.
What does this guy think he's an Indian?
Like such as?
Yes, this is a huge, momentous announcement for the Philadelphia Phillies. They had a lot to deal with this season. Joe Girardi, remember, got fired at the beginning of this season.
Yep.
It didn't seem like he was the right manager for the job. everything was just kind of up in the air. Bryce Harper got hurt. He was out for a good chunk of the season. It did not look like this was going to be a playoff team, especially with past seasons here in Philadelphia. But they came together, rallied, and just pulled it off with also the help of Major League Baseball changes by adding that 6th wild card spot. So that also helped.
Just a little bit.
So that helped. But the Phillies did it. They are going to be in one of the wild card series this upcoming weekend. And I could not be more excited. I'm so glad that postseason baseball is coming back to Philadelphia. I'm just excited to see. And look, as much as we want to say, the wins matter, the game, how many wins you have matters, and who has the best team and everything. I hate to say it, but championships though depend on who gets hot at the right time. And the Phillies snuck their way in. And the moment that the season officially ends on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the teams that you're talking about, whenever the season ends, that's it. All the teams that make it, they start at scratch.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's just winning.
It's a brand new season.
Right. At that point, just winning the necessary games you need to survive and move forward. So even though the Phillies are at the low 6th seed, at least they're in the tournament, and you don't know what can happen. So I am very excited. Mike, come on, get excited. I know it isn't football. I know this is fall and we're talking baseball. I know this is weird.
I know they keep pushing these playoffs back further and further, but
this is the first time
I know
since we've done the podcast,
and
we are legitimately talking Phillies baseball in October.
When you brought that up, I was like, I didn't believe it. I was like, nah, they had to have made it at some point. But it's true. The first time since 2011. It is exciting because, both of us, got to watch that kind of small Phillies dynasty that they had back in the late 2010s.
Aughts. It was,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the aughts. Yeah, the aughts.
Yeah.
2008 through 2011. So it's good to finally be back to the postseason. And, maybe they can pull off a couple wins. Maybe, like you said, they get hot at the right time. And I just don't want to see them exit immediately. I hope they can do something.
Yeah.
I don't expect them to go very far, but there's a lot of other really good teams right now just looking at the win-loss records. I know you say it doesn't mean anything, but being the 6th...
Well, I mean, just when it resets...
When it right, exactly. It's a completely new slate of games. But it's a good sign of things to come as well. If they keep building on this momentum next year, keep the pieces that they have, add to the pieces that they have, maybe in future years on the podcast, we can talk about them going even deeper in the playoffs.
Yes. So
good stuff.
It's a good time to be a Philadelphia Phillies fan.
Good time to be a Philadelphia fan in general.
Yep. I really hope the Phillies can, make some noise with their first wild card playoff series this weekend. It's now a 3-game series. Thank God Major League Baseball addressed that stupid 1-game. Well, they called it a 1-game series, which doesn't make any sense. That's not a series. That's literally the definition of not a series.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, they finally did away with that, and it is at least now a 3-game series. So, if you have a bad game, you can bounce back for 2 straight and see if you are truly the better team. So I'm on favor for that, and the Phillies will take part in that. To be determined who their opponent is, because there's like a wacky scenario where they could jump to the 5 seed if things happen, but we'll see. Keep an eye on that. But for right now, go Phillies. Let's see if they make some noise. And hey, maybe next week we're talking about, maybe they're in the divisional round.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so if that doesn't happen, though, I think it's a good fallback option we have, considering the Philadelphia Eagles win their 4th straight game and remain the only undefeated team in the NFL.
Where are my Eagles?
Yes, that's actually Mike. That's exactly what Mike was saying the last 5 minutes.
Where are my Eagles?
Yes.
Can't go more than a couple of minutes without talking about the Philadelphia Eagles here on the podcast, especially this season, 4-0. And though this game they did something very impressive, they actually had to fight back for once, right? They
Yes.
were down 14-0
Yeah,
immediately.
actually, scary to start off the game, down 2 touchdowns already.
It's not something they've had to do.
Not
And,
yet. Yep.
I mean, the Detroit Lions game was a close one, but it was
They
back and
weren't
forth.
behind.
But exactly.
Yes, so that was definitely a wake-up call, and it was something that I did want to see the Eagles handle with. How did they handle when they're behind instead of being ahead in the entire game?
Yeah, but they answered in spectacular fashion, 29 unanswered points, with the Jags scoring there again at the very end. And, winning in different ways, because just looking at the box score, looking at the stat sheet, Jalen Hurts had a fairly average game, but both quarterbacks did because of the weather in the area. It was much more of a ground game. Miles Sanders tearing off 134 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Finally, you get to see Miles Sanders do
Miles
something.
Sanders in the end zone. What?
Yeah, right? I mean, he hasn't been there in years, it seems.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be there. You get out of that end zone.
You stay out of there. That's where Hurts belongs.
That's reserved for Jalen Hurts, Boston Scott, and Gainwell.
That's right.
Not for him.
I always felt bad for Sanders.
Sanders is supposed to only run from the 20s. That's
yes,
it.
exactly. But also, more impressive than Sanders, I think, the defensive side of the ball. Hassan Reddick might be one of the best pickups of the offseason that people are talking about, but I don't think enough. I mean, strip sack after strip sack. He had another 2 sacks this game, couple of tackles, and the defense in general, just getting to the quarterback.
They won the game.
They absolutely, yeah.
Because, unfortunately, the Eagles lost. They may have lost Jake Elliott because he got hurt, and they couldn't kick a field goal that really would have iced the game in the fourth quarter. So they had to go for it on 4th down, and it didn't work. So the Jaguars had the ball back with it was less than 2 minutes. They had enough time to run down the field, score a touchdown, and possibly a 2-point conversion to tie the game up. That game was not over, but then they got the strip sack. And the defense won that game, which, just on a little side note here, I'm just, why can't we have, just regular team, kicker? Why is there always some issue with the kicker?
I don't know.
Why is there no
He can't help if he got hurt.
Why is there no backup plan? There should be something.
There should be. Teams should have a backup kicker.
I can't believe the solution to, the kicker got hurt is, we got to go for it on 4th down. We got to go for it on 2-point conversions. I don't know. To me, for how these guys are getting paid millions of dollars, there's no plan in place for a backup kicker. The punter can't kick. I don't know.
Here's my argument for why teams should carry a backup kicker. And I know everybody out there's like, waste a roster spot on a backup kicker. Yes, because kickers kick 25 to 35 field goals on average a season. You're talking about 75 to over 100 points right there, plus all the extra points. That's a lot of points for one positional, person. Like a great wide receiver gets 10 touchdowns a season. That's 60 points. Woohoo! Kickers can reach triple-digit points in a season.
Well, I'll tell you what, it would have been nice.
There should be backup kickers on teams.
It would have been nice to have some sort of backup kicking plan in place so that the Eagles could have went up by 11 and iced the game, as opposed to having to go for it on 4th down and then losing it. And then they really got lucky that the defense had that strip sack to end the game, because another team that if that was any other team, that could have been a drive back down, 2-point conversion, go into overtime.
All of a sudden, overtime. You don't know how it's going to end up.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems so unsophisticated that there's not. I don't know. Can't the punter kick? I don't know. There should be some sort of backup option other than just putting your hands in the air. We can't kick anymore. That's it. We've lost our ability to kick. And the Eagles aren't the only one guilty of this. I've seen that done with other teams. It's just a common thing in the NFL. That's just the kicker got hurt. All right, that's it. No more field goals.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, that always just bothered me.
Right now, they've signed a kicker to the practice squad we don't know yet whether Jake Elliott's going to play.
But if not, his name is Cameron Dickey. So he's
Dicker.
Dicker. Cameron Dicker. So he's Dicker the kicker.
Dicker the kicker, yeah.
Look,
so,
with a name like that, he's got to be good.
Gotta love the name.
So we might see him this weekend. Keep an eye on it. Cameron Dicker the kicker. Dicker the kicker.
Yeah. That brings me to my last point about the game, though, is just the injuries.
Yeah, it's starting to stack up here.
Losing Darius Slay, Jordan Mailata. Possibly. All these are possible. At the time of recording, we don't really know how they're going to be for game time, but possibly Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, Jordan Mailata, Jake Elliott. These are Isaac Seimalu. I mean, these are like important guys.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough to win without them. So I would say if you're a fan of the Eagles, you might want to keep an eye. Because, these injuries are starting to stack up like previous seasons.
But for right now, we can appreciate the fact that we are 4-0.
Yes.
The only undefeated team in the NFL. I found this obscure stat. The last team to go undefeated in a season, or rather, the final remaining undefeated team, has gone on to appear in the Super Bowl in 50% of the last 20 seasons.
Okay.
So every season, the team who is the last undefeated team goes on to appear in the Super Bowl
half the time.
Half the time.
All right.
So, if you're a person that likes statistics, we have essentially a 50-50 shot of making the Super Bowl.
Yep. And the NFC is relatively weak this year.
It is very weak. The toughest division is the division we play in. Other than that, it's kind of wide open.
All right. So interesting breadcrumbs that Mikey's leaving there.
But do I think Jalen Hurts is the guy?
Yeah, that's right. We got to have your annual report on Jalen Hurts' guy meter.
You are not the guy. You're not capable of being the guy. I had a guy, but now I don't. You are not the guy.
All right. So where do you rank Jalen Hurts now?
Here's all I'm going to say. Trevor Lawrence over here with an 84 quarterback rating. Jalen Hurts with 72. Even though they won, he couldn't even get the better quarterback rating. So, I'm just not convinced still. Just not convinced.
So he's not the guy.
Not the guy.
You are not the guy. You're not capable of being the guy. I had a guy, but now I don't. You are not the guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what kind of bum gets less of a quarterback rating than the losing quarterback? I mean, what?
This is just Mike's mission. Every week he's going to find something to hate.
Jalen Hurts could go out there, throw 40 out of 45 passes.
He doesn't throw deep enough.
400 yards. Right, he doesn't throw deep enough. I will find something because I am still convinced it is single-handedly my disdain for Jalen Hurts that is propelling him to these heights. So I have to maintain that disdain. And I don't believe that he couldn't get a better performance than Trevor Lawrence visiting Philadelphia. Come on, guys.
All right. Well, take that with a grain of salt.
An entire salt lick.
Yeah, it's an entire salt lick. You got to take that one with. But we'll see. We'll see how things play out. And that's a good transition to our predictive segment, our Fantastic Four picks, where we're going to let you know 4 games that we think you should keep an eye out for and our predictions as to what's going to happen to them. Mike wants to mention, and he's absolutely right, he got all of it right last week, and I was only 2-2. So yeah. I'm definitely behind on my picks.
But get ready for a complete role reversal this week because that's how things go here, especially with weird games like this. Another game in London. The New York Giants are traveling across the pond to face off against the Green Bay Packers at their new home stadium for a week. This is Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Watching football early in the morning. Rich, who do you got here? The Giants or the Packers? Both of them 3-1, but also both of them giant question marks for their teams.
Yeah, but the Giants have a huge big one. They have Davis Webb possibly starting as their quarterback after...
I think I bumped into him in a Wawa or somewhere recently.
You might have. Because he was on the practice squad because the Giants lost both Daniel Jones and their backup Tyrod Taylor in last week's game. And I can't trust... It's simple. I can't trust a practice squad quarterback making his NFL debut in London. That's just too many variables to overcome. I think this is Green Bay all the way. I think if you have any teaser plays, I think this is a strong leg to put on your teaser. Get the spread down on the Packers down to a point where they just win or just win by a field goal, and I think you're in. I think don't overthink this. Packers take this one.
Yeah, it's really hard to say otherwise. The only thing that the Giants have where they could kind of take advantage of the Packers is that they have currently the first-ranked rushing offense in the league, but
they have to run. Both of their quarterbacks are out.
Right, exactly. They have to run, and I don't think that's enough to topple the Packers. That one singular statistic is not enough to edge out the Packers. Even though the Packers are, they're missing players and they've been sloppy this year, I think you go with a little bit more of an experienced team, especially in a crazy, cross the globe type trip here. You're right. Practice squad quarterback in another country. It just has a recipe for disaster. I'm going with the Packers too. It seems pretty simple to me.
Use Green Bay in teasers.
There you go. Next up, we have a dome battle. Who's got the? I don't know what that means. Rich put that in. But
they both play in domes.
Okay, the battle of the domes. Who's got the best one? Is it the Dallas Cowboys or the LA Rams? Rich, who has the better dome?
Yeah, take that, Dallas. No. So, I don't know. It's just one of those interesting matchups. Both NFC teams both usually do well in dome situations. I got to give props to Dallas here. Dallas is 3-0 without Dak. And, I mean, the Rams...
I don't think anybody expected that one.
And the Rams, I don't know what is going on with them. It seems like they've hit a ceiling with Matthew Stafford. They can't get the run game going, even though they have got Cam Akers, and it just seems like nothing's clicking right with the defending champions here. Cowboys, they're kind of playing with house money. Nobody really expected them to go 3-0 since Dak got hurt. I think the good times keep rolling. I think Cowboys take this one.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but the Dallas defense is for real. They are tough. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, the Rams are struggling on pretty much every facet of the game.
They can't run the ball.
They can't run the ball, but Stafford, 6 picks already on the season. He's just not looking like himself. Playing in the Super Bowl, having that super long season is clearly having a negative impact on these guys on this team.
That is a funny point, that when he was in Detroit, the Lions always got eliminated, so he had another month to recover. He
always had like an extra 5-6 weeks to sit around and eat Fritos, but this time he had to play all the way into mid-February.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's also getting up there in age, and he has a history of nagging injuries. So you have an old guy with injuries with an extra month and a half of football.
And they can't run the ball.
I mean, 6 interceptions, can't run the ball. The defense is struggling, even though they have on paper, a great defense. I think Dallas steals one here against the Rams. Nobody was expecting Dallas's backup quarterback to be playing the way that he has been. He's not making mistakes.
No.
He's not lighting the world on fire, but he's not making mistakes. Just keep it simple. They should be able to win it. Keep it simple, though. We have an AFC North battle here. The Cincinnati Bengals up against the Baltimore Ravens. This is a primetime game. It doesn't get any simpler than a classic AFC rivalry. Rich, who do you got in this one?
Boy,
it's a tough one.
This is
two
tough.
Very equally matched opponents.
This is tough, but I'm actually going to mark this as probably the bet of the week. I'm going with the Ravens at home. This is a team that really should be 4-0, but they've kind of gotten in their own way. They had a ridiculous 4th down call with Lamar Jackson last week that they were trying to win aggressively, but it ended up backfiring in that game. And I think they've just shot themselves in the foot in their 2 losses. I think if they just come back to reality, play smarter, reduce the turnovers, reduce the mistakes, I think they can handle a Bengals team that still really hasn't gotten their offensive line right. I mean, I know they've won last week, but that offensive line is still not protecting Joe Burrow. And in a division matchup where you're telling me that the Ravens could face a dismal offensive line, that sounds to me like they're going to the buffet. I like the Ravens in this matchup. I think you take whatever the point spread is, as long as it's reasonable. I think the Ravens cover it. I think they cover at least a field goal. I think it's a good play. Ravens at home.
Yeah, the Ravens, they have been struggling a little bit, but the Bengals, I think, have been struggling more when I think people were expecting more from them as well. Lamar Jackson's playing really well for the Ravens right now. You're right. They do shoot themselves in the foot. They're not getting the turnovers. They're not getting to the quarterback as frequently as they are used to. They're getting off to kind of slow starts. If there's any team that they can correct these things against, it would be a division rival at home. So even though I really like the Bengals, I like them going into the season, right now they've not done enough to prove that they're capable of making it back to the Super Bowl. So I got to go with the Ravens here, but begrudgingly so because I really want the Bengals to pull it out. I think they have a chance, but I still have to go with the common sense answer and say the Ravens.
The Ravens are kind of flying under the radar because they're 2-2.
Yeah.
But,
they have the components, but they're not putting them together yet. But it's the same with the Bengals as well.
Yeah, but the Ravens, I think, have a better depth of talent. Last year, up until Lamar Jackson got hurt, they were the number 1 overall seed in the AFC.
Yeah.
This is a quality team. I think people are sleeping on them.
Well, we'll see how they fare in that Sunday night game, but there's 2 other bird teams we got to talk about. That's right. It's the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the Arizona Cardinals to face off against Kyler Murray and not DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes, I think that's a huge headline here. If DeAndre Hopkins was playing, I would be worried in this matchup.
They do have Marquise Brown, but we've shut down other decent receivers so far this season.
And the reason why Marquise Brown is getting all the stardom is because DeAndre Hopkins isn't there, I think. I feel like he's just soaking up the spotlight since Hopkins isn't there. I don't know.
But does that lead to an Eagles win?
I think so. I'm not really scared of Kyler Murray. Especially with all the offseason drama we heard.
Yeah.
That he's not, sometimes he doesn't take practice seriously and stuff. I mean, I'm not really impressed with this Cardinals team. The only thing I can see is maybe the Eagles are a little high on their own supply after 4 big wins, and maybe they think this one's going to be an easy win. But I think the Eagles can handle their business here. I think they take care of it. I think they win. I'm not afraid of this game.
Trap game.
Oh, are you believing in the trap game?
Dallas
is next week
in prime time. Next week, there's no Call of Duty event or release this week for Kyler Murray to be distracted. Look, I really want the Eagles to win. I believe they actually can win. I think that they should win. Everything about this matchup says that it should favor the Eagles. But for some reason, in the pit of my stomach, I just feel like traveling across the country, the number of injuries, especially Jake Elliott, if he doesn't play, and again, this could change later in the week, it could change my tune, but right now, I just have this nagging feeling in the pit of my gut.
No, you have to make your pick now because we have to send it to our graphic guy. He has to make the official graphic. So what is your decision?
I'm so torn. No, you know what? No. I've picked Eagles every single week. I'm going to pick Eagles again.
Woo! There you go.
But don't be surprised if it does go the other way.
How can you say that? We're going to have Dicker the kicker if Jake Elliott isn't playing. All right? Come on.
In all seriousness, this game really does worry me. I truly believe it could be a trap game.
Yeah, but I don't know. The Cardinals just don't scare me.
You know what else? I saw something today that Nick Sirianni's not getting the credit he deserves. Everybody gave him crap for the Flowers comment. He's really turned that team. And my brother pointed this
ever since
out,
the Flower comment, yeah.
And my brother pointed this out. He said this team reminds him of 2017, not necessarily in how far they could go, but in how they've gelled and how they're having fun playing and how they're flying around the field, and it just seems like things seem to go their way.
They're playing very loose.
Very loose, very excited, and you can see that, and it makes it more exciting to watch them. So, more credit to Nick Sirianni.
But let me just get everything on the record because I think we're in agreement then on our 4 games.
Yes.
Packers, Cowboys, Ravens, Eagles.
Yes.
All right. So, unfortunately, I will not gain any ground on Mike, but we are in agreement with our fantastic 4 picks right there.
Sorry, went on a little bit of a spiel there, but that's okay because we have to wrap things up now with a quick hitting segment that we like to call the 3-minute drill.
All right, the clock is armed and go. What's
right.
the topic in 3 minutes or less?
This week in the 3-minute drill, we have one major topic, and that is to talk about Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa. I knew I was going to butcher it.
Very close.
I practiced it beforehand. I'm sorry. But Tua is in the concussion protocol. He's going to miss this week, and this is coming after 2 games of very scary hits. Everybody remembers the first game where he got hit. He tried to get back up, and he's stumbling. And everybody's like, that is a clear sign of a concussion. But he continued to play the game.
Yeah.
Then
4 days later.
4 days later, he gets another hit. Hit head. Back of the head.
Whiplash.
To the turf. But the scariest part is that, when the camera showed him after the hit, his body is all contorted and locked up in what people are calling the fencing response. It's where your arms get locked up in a position where it looks like you're fencing. And that, doctors say, is a sign of it is like an undisputable sign of a brain injury.
Yep.
Because it is a primitive response. Like, you don't go into that response unless, like, your higher functioning is impacted and it's just pure, like, autonomous reaction.
Yeah.
That is very, very scary stuff. I don't know if he's going to return anytime soon.
No, and he shouldn't.
And he shouldn't. The Dolphins had such a great thing going, and then they forced him back in that first game, and then again that second game 4 days later.
Yes. Why was he playing 4 days later?
There's going to be an investigation.
Oh, there has to be. Oh, yeah. And the concussion protocol is going to have to be examined again and relooked at. It just doesn't make any sense that he had such a obvious injury on Sunday and that he was able to play on Thursday. That should have been Bridgewater starting that game, and I can't understand that. And I hope Tua's doing okay, but I mean, he literally could sue the NFL, I think, or sue Miami Dolphins, or whoever was supposed to make the decision to say, hey, you shouldn't be playing on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's too quick of a turnaround.
Somebody needs to be held responsible for this because, I even saw some headlines, and I'm not going to go this far, but some people are saying he might not play again. Or some people are like, just quit the game, because that fencing response is a bad sign.
Yes. I mean,
that's really scary.
I mean, look, if you're honestly, that's not that far-fetched. That's a scary thing to happen to you, especially when you're in your 20s.
Yeah, if you're hit so hard that your whole body just convulses because you cannot control it.
Yeah, that's not real. I wouldn't be.
And the NFLPA is investigating this. They've requested meetings to start an investigation.
Yeah,
it's going to get ugly.
I wouldn't be surprised if he, wanted to quit or something. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
Not at all.
So there you go. Our 3-minute drill where we examine a topic in 3 minutes or less. A very serious one there with Tua. I hope he's doing all right. And
yeah, wish him the best.
They said he was traveling with the team, so I guess he's feeling better. But that's rough. He better have 2 serious brain hits in 4 days.
I really hope he takes his time coming back because he was having a Cinderella season. Everybody was questioning whether he could, be the star quarterback, and then he was proving he could, and then this happened. I mean, it's tragic.
Yeah.
But wishing him the best. Hopefully it's good news. Right now, we'll just have to wait and see, and hopefully the Miami Dolphins get sued to smithereens.
Well, someone's definitely going to be on the hook for it. But with that, we got to wrap up the first part of our show, but don't go anywhere because we still got more show coming at you. We got the entertainment entree and then the non-fortune cookie odd news. You don't want to miss what I've got prepared in that. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
If you go to Taco Bell at 3 in the morning, this is what you're going to get. Yeah,
That clip is already coming into play.
Yes, already. So there you go.
Stop.
What happened?
The thing went on.
Well, how did that turn on?
I don't know. The fart sound.
The fart sound turned Amazon on?
I think the fart sound turned on my Echo.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. It turned on.
What are you doing, Jeff Bezos? What are you into?
Basically, he's listening to fart sounds.
He's listening to our fart sounds. Oh, my God.
I changed the trigger word to fart. I got to fart at it now. I don't know what happened.
That's really awkward. You're going to have to... Excuse me.
Excuse me. How can I help you?
You may need some bowel.
Do you want me to automatically order you Pepto-Bismol? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm talking to it solely through farts now.
It actually, you fart into it.
Fart once for yes and twice for no.
No. Actually, you fart into the device, and then
Yeah.
Amazon can determine what medicine you need.
Oh, right. Wow. That's next level right there. Or what you've been eating and what you want to reorder.
Oh.
I detect Cheetos. Would you like to subscribe?
Would you like a bulk order of Cheetos?
Oh, yes, please.
Cheetos ordered.
Cheetos. That story took a turn.
Yeah.
Cheetos ordered.
Okay. All right. There you go. The latest from Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
It's amazing technology, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Like Mikey said, it is a good time actually right now to be a Philadelphia sports fan.
That's
Phillies in the postseason, Eagles undefeated. What could go wrong?
Absolutely everything.
Yeah.
That's the other part about being a Philly fan.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll find out on next week's episode. We'll see. But that's why we don't limit ourselves to sports. That's why we jump around some of the kingdoms. We go from sports to our next segment that revolves around TV, movies, celebrities, stuff like that. It is time for the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, entertainment entree time, and we're going to start it off with the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this weekend with movies, TV, video games, stuff like that in Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what should we keep an eye out for?
All right, well, first up in movies, we have two big dramas hitting theaters this week in limited releases. We have To Leslie and Tar. Both of these movies look like they could potentially garner some awards attention, just going based on the reviews and the content. To Leslie is about a struggling single mother who wins the lottery and a chance at a good life. But after squandering the winnings over a couple of years, she finds herself struggling once again and is forced to return to her home, where she's unwanted by many, except for a lonely motel clerk who takes a chance on her.
It sounds like a dramatic version of Schitt's Creek.
You know, I was thinking that. I was like, this is literally Schitt's Creek if it was a drama.
Yeah.
Maybe they were inspired by the television series. Who knows? But it's faring well with critics. 96 on Rotten Tomatoes with an average of 7.3 out of 10. So go check it out. Tar, on the other hand, is gaining serious awards attention for Cate Blanchett as the leading actress and also for the director as well. So definitely keep an eye on this one. It is a drama about a famed music conductor at the peak of her career just before she starts to spiral out of control from those dizzying heights. And apparently has a great mother-daughter relationship going on in the movie as well. All stuff that is perfect awards bait. The movie's doing very well with critics, a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes with an 8.3 out of 10 average. Definitely keep your eye on this one. Again, garnering some serious awards buzz. In TV, we're well into spooky season by now, and if you want some TV to watch, I've got some good options for you. First, we have Midnight Club premiering on Netflix this Friday. This is a new series from one of my favorite creators of Netflix, Mike Flanagan, the mind behind Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, and Midnight Mass. This is his next series. It's a show about 7 dying teenagers in a hospice who try to scare each other with scary stories. Then apparently one of them dies, and they make a pact that whoever dies first, they'll try to communicate with the others from beyond the grave, and it gets creepy from there. So just imagine teens in a creepy hospice center telling scary stories to each other. Sounds very spooky. The trailer has some good jump scares in it already, so I'm definitely checking this one out. That's on Netflix this Friday. Also this week, Werewolf.
I have to just on a weird tangent on this.
Yeah.
Should we have a system like this in case one of us dies?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What's the? I don't know. What should be the password or something?
If one of us dies, the other will say, "Hidely ho there, neighborino," and then we'll know.
Okay.
I don't know why Ned Flanders.
Ned Flanders is going to be the representative in the afterlife.
Yeah, hidely ho there, neighborinos. Then we're going, crap, Mikey died.
Okay, there you go. If you hear a spooky hidely ho neighborino, it's Mikey.
Hidely ho there. Yeah, that's me.
Yep, he's not making it to the next Crispy Noodle podcast.
No. It's a good plan.
Yes.
But another good plan is to check out Werewolf by Night. It is a new MCU one-off Halloween special coming to Disney+. Yes, it's a one-off. I think it's like a 2-hour special. It's directed by the famed composer Michael Giacchino, who's behind a lot of video game soundtracks and Pixar soundtracks. So it's really cool that he's getting his first directing gig here. But it's very simple sounding concept. A secret group of monster hunters compete for a powerful relic after their leader dies. This is a one-off special, but it's promised to have major tie-ins to the larger MCU. Also noteworthy is that this is a very dark and violent special. Apparently one of the MCU's bloodiest and scariest pieces, and it's only the black and white color palette that prevented it from getting a TVMA rating, and the entire production staff thought and expected it to get a TVMA rating. So I guess because the blood's not red.
Because the blood isn't red, it's
TV-14.
Logic.
Logic. So if you want a surprisingly dark and gritty MCU Halloween special, Werewolf by Night on Disney+, go check it out. And finally, in video games, Overwatch 2 is coming to all major current and last-gen consoles and PC this week. This is the free-to-play sequel to the wildly popular hero shooter from several years ago. It is a strictly multiplayer-type affair where you pick a hero. Each hero has special, unique abilities and weapons, and you compete in, I think, 5v5 matches to gain control over territory and obviously defeat your opponents. With it going free-to-play, it's bound to have lots of players, so lots of opportunities to jump into matches. It's an incredibly fun game, the original one, so definitely go check it out. It's free. There's no harm in doing so. And that is what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right. Thank you for that segment, Mike. This Week in Entertainment. All right. Now it's time to get to our main story here in the entertainment entree. And this is one that I have actually been following very closely. I was actually I was thinking about mentioning it last week, but I read the headline, I saw the evidence, and I was like, I don't know if this is legit. So I decided to back off on it. And boy, I, along with 6 million people online, we have all been proven wrong. We need to talk about Ned Fulmer and the Try Guy scandal. This is lighting up Twitter, lighting up YouTube. I mean, this is the millennial and Generation Y scandal of the year. I mean, this is something every young person is talking about right now. I mean, actually, as of right now, it is the #1 video on YouTube, and it's probably not the way the Try Guys YouTube channel wanted to have a #1 video.
Yeah,
this scandal. So if you don't know the Try Guys, basically their shtick is every week they try something new on their YouTube channel. It could be anything. It could be cooking. It could be skydiving. It could be getting hypnotized. They have all these videos. They try something new. There's 4 members, and they all kind of have their distinct characteristics. Eugene is like your sassy gay friend. Zach is your typical nerd. Keith is like your kind of socially cool improv comedy guy. And Ned was billed as like the family, wife guy. He has the wife that he loves. He's got 2 children. He's always a little bit tired because he's got to deal with the kids. So they all kind of are billed for like different aspects of different ways of life. And last week there were rumors and alleged pieces of evidence and allegations in which it seemed Ned had an affair with another member of the Try Guys team, a woman that actually sometimes goes on camera with them and does another show with them called the Food Babies. So if this was true, this would be a major scandal. And, everybody was kind of like, I don't know if this is really real. These pictures are kind of blurry at best. But boy, man, the internet, when they got their teeth synced into something, they will find out everything they possibly can. And all the people online did internet sleuthing, and eventually it came out that this was all legit, and Ned Fulmer had to admit that he was indeed having an affair with another employee of the Try Guys organization. And this is just huge on so many levels. Number one, it completely shatters his image as the wife guy role, obviously. Right. He literally did the thing you're not supposed to do.
Right. The only thing that you're supposed to not do, being the quote-unquote wife guy.
Yeah.
Oh, now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
Like, literally, yeah, the one thing you're not supposed to do. He did it. But also, on a more serious note, he had an improper relationship with, another employee, and he is part owner of the Try Guys. Yeah. So you're talking about a huge power difference.
It's workplace sexual misconduct because, even though it was consensual, according to all the parties involved, it still, like you said, creates a weird power dynamic. And then there's questions like, how did these people's careers change based on this impropriety? Yeah. And how did,
she got featured on videos? Is it because, she was having some fun with Ned?
And you can't have that because then, even though it's consensual, could he then leverage that relationship to, get favorable, whatever from the producers or, whatever it may be? It creates a bad power dynamic.
Yes. So obviously after a review, the Try Guys made the stunning announcement this past week and announced that they essentially fired Ned Fulmer and have removed him from all ownership from being part of the Try Guys. And this is very extensive. I've never really even heard of anything like this, but I guess you have to do it. they've done all the legwork in terms of removing him from like the website, from the store, from any marketing, from imagery, from videos that they were planning to release. This actually is another like segment of a job in of itself that they had to like digitally erase him from everything that they had been pushing, because it was the four of them.
It's crazy. I've never heard of any entertainment property going to that extent of digitally removing an entire host.
Yes,
from
he's a host.
Like,
I don't know how you do that.
I just can't even imagine just like cutting up the videos and just like lobbing off like a quarter of the final content, basically, like any scene that he was in, or like going through and painstakingly removing him from scenes and stuff. Like, it's a huge undertaking, but that just shows their commitment to getting it right.
Yeah,
and making it right.
And the Try Guys released the three remaining members of the Try Guys. They released an emotional 5-minute video detailing everything that went on. We're not going to play that; it's too long. But if you want to check it out, it's literally the #1 video on YouTube right now. But what even makes this even further worse, and just horrible timing on this, is the fact they had just signed this really sweet TV deal with the Food Network. They have been airing kind of a TV version of their cooking challenges, and it's been pretty successful. It was on Wednesday nights, prime time. It seemed to be doing relatively well, and because of this, suddenly the Food Network announced they moved it to Friday night. And I don't know. That sounds to me like they're kind of sending it away and kind of hoping people kind of forget about that TV show. So it is kind of amazing. I feel like the meme of the dominoes, where the guy pushes the one little tiny dominoes and it ends with a giant tiny
one. Yeah.
Because this is kind of just a huge shame that Ned did this one decision, having this affair, and it's just seemed to have all these repercussions between the fact that, the Try Guys had to literally fire him. Try Guys had to literally digitally erase him from their upcoming content. They're kind of at a loss for where, the direction of the channel's going to go. Apparently the Food Network is iffy at best, continuing their current deal. It's a real life TV drama happening behind the scenes with this channel.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And, it speaks to a couple of larger issues, I think, with just how we treat internet celebrities. Like, everything is so just turned up to 11 all the time because their lives are so public.
Yeah.
His whole gimmick was, I'm the wife guy.
Yes.
Like, he's always talking about his wife and his kids and his relationship and how fulfilling it is and how, hard, how much, very wholesome. And when you make a brand around your personal life and you blend it with your public life, when something like this happens, the only thing you can do from the Try Guys perspective is the nuclear option and remove him from stuff, because the optics, and especially with something like internet fandom and famedom, all you have is the optics. So you have to do your best to repair it. And so, because if this literally happened at like Joe Schmo white collar job, everyone would be like,
yeah, so
oh well.
Yeah.
It's just like shoulder shrug. But because this played out in public with celebrities, internet celebrities, where their personal and private lives are so enmeshed, it's a scandal for the ages.
Yeah.
It's going to be etched in the history books of the
internet.
The internet, yeah.
Honestly, if you were to create like a history of the internet, I feel like this will be a marker in it. And another thing too is just the fact that like he built like his character on this.
Don't build your character on being something that is so wholesome, because then it allows you, and I'm not to say like you should be allowed to have affairs and stuff, but like if other people, and we've seen it with other celebrities, if they falter, they kind of recover from it. But he built his brand on that thing. You know, when you build your brand on a single thing, then you do the opposite of what that thing is. You're done.
You're a huge hypocrite.
You're done. You can't ever come back and be like, oh, I'm the wife guy again.
Right. Your stock has just plummeted, and there's no way it could ever come back up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if he built his brand on being like, I don't know, the Lego guy, and then he cheated on his wife, everyone would be like, oh, okay, he can still do Legos.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that.
Right. I mean, we've had athletes. They cheat. Oh, it's all right.
Yeah. And Tom Brady's going through a divorce right now.
Yeah,
There's people out there going, good. He doesn't need Giselle. You know, we didn't touch on that in sports, but when again he made his whole brand about the relationship. So
yeah, if Tom Brady had issued 20 years of just I love Giselle or something, and then.
20 years of books and photos about
me and Giselle or something.
Right.
I don't know, some bull stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Then his career would be done. But it's tough with these internet celebrities because of the way they themselves are their brand. You know what I mean? Other people get to hide behind a profession.
Yeah.
With these people, their profession is their life.
Yeah.
It's one and the same.
And there's no wall.
No, there's no wall at all.
Yeah. So it's just obvious that
it's very weird. It's very sad.
The hypocrisy is just so blatant now.
Yeah,
it makes it far worse. And then one more thing on this is the Try Guys, the four of them, they're all legitimately friends. They've had AMAs with other members of the staff, and they've all attested that they are legitimately friends. They all hang out. They used to hang. Well, I don't know about now, but they used. They would hang out after work. They had their significant others would hang out with each other. Eugene, kind of being the being gay. He was very close to the wives, and you can tell by the way in that video he is legitimately
was pissed. Yeah,
he is pissed off at this whole scenario. So it's just a level that not only is this kind of a business F up, this is also a personal wow, Ned really he messed this up severely.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in this age of the internet, everything
does not go unnoticed.
No, it doesn't go unnoticed. As a matter of fact, it's the complete opposite. It's like the internet train wreck. It's people will continue to watch. People will watch more intently because it's it's horrible, but I want to keep looking. I want to keep finding out more details.
Well, the very first thing, I mean, when you showed me the video, the very first thing I did is, Rich Eggs out of YouTube. And I go, no, wait, what was that? That was, I want to see the Ned Fulmer aged like milk comments. And then I want to watch the Ned Fulmer, these scenes hit different. And it just goes on and on from there. And it's just so, in my mind, bizarre and also so sad because, again, if this were just some Joe Schmo and white-collar job, the family could go, retreat, repair, reflect. But this guy's career is done. He did it to himself. He did it because he made his brand about something and then immediately did the exact opposite of that thing. And it's weird because of this age of the internet and how we view internet celebrities and how they enmesh their lives, personal and public. And it's sad because now none of these parties get to have any kind of privacy or any way to come back from this, and they both made comments that they're going to work on it. Ned Fulmer's very sorry. He had a lapse in judgment, yada, yada, yada. And the wife is saying, please give us privacy. We're going to continue working on it. And they can't get that.
No, they're not going to be able to get it. Not in this age of the internet. But
so it's crazy and weird and sad and just a disaster.
Yeah. Hopefully the Try Guys, the other three, will rebound and come out of this.
I don't know how they do.
But it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. Like you said, they're friends. And you could tell from the video, the one guy's choking up. The one guy's pissed. That's the other thing is that they were, personal and private. They were friends. Now all of a sudden, one of the friends is just
an
gone.
Asshole.
And I
mean,
they had to fire their friend because he's an ass.
Yeah, I mean when you're that integrated between the significant others.
Yeah.
It toes the line that you've crossed something we can't support.
This guy Ned blew up multiple lives.
Yes. And I think that's the part that people can't turn off. They want to learn more about what happened,
Right.
why he did it, and everything like that. And unfortunately, just you're only going to get what's available on the internet right now. But
go look up the response video
Yes.
at the very least.
It's the #1 trending video on YouTube right now, which is unfortunately not the way I think the Try Guys wanted to have a #1 video on YouTube. But it's the talk of the internet town right now. So if you want to check out more of that story, make sure you do so. All right. Speaking of things that are getting shut down, we have an announcement here in the video game world.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of one that we all saw the writing on the wall, judging by the fact we haven't talked about it in like a year and a half.
Yeah, since it launched.
Google is officially killing its video game experiment, Stadia.
'Cause you done goofed.
Yeah,
Yep.
they really did. Google Stadia was plagued with problems from the start. It was supposed to be a renaissance of game streaming, the Netflix of games. They had all these crazy integrations. You could search for a game and then in the search results start playing it immediately. And you could save not just clips of the gameplay, but gameplay segments to send to other people. And they would supposedly be able to play that segment just the way that you had it with all your settings and circumstances and some really cool cutting edge tech that never seemed to catch on because it was a weird subscription service, but also you had to pay for the games and it was also all kind of online, which introduces a whole bunch of issues. And then obviously streaming games is always tough. As somebody who recently got the latest version of PlayStation Plus where you can stream some games, I tried it. I tried streaming a game. It's awful.
It doesn't work.
I have my PlayStation hooked directly up via Ethernet, and if it's any kind of game that requires any kind of reflexes, it just does not work straight up. I don't care how good your internet is. I have pretty good internet. I'm downloading multi-gig games in a couple seconds, couple minutes. It does not cut it. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So Google Stadia had an uphill battle, and it lost miserably. They're shutting down their services January of next year. They're offering refunds for all.
That's when you know you messed up.
That's when you know you goofed.
Yeah, they're offering refunds.
Oh, now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
Yep, all Stadia hardware purchases through the Stadia store, as well as games and add-ons. So basically, anything hardware or software related you purchase through the Stadia store will be refunded. Publishers and developers are also looking to make things right for gamers who purchase games on the system. They're trying to migrate them to the PC version of those games where available. But it's such a messy situation now because, Google had development studios and they had exclusives. And now, you're seeing the reports this exclusive is going to be going multi-platform now that they're no longer tied to a console that exists. So it's just a weird, messy situation. And it really, the thing that popped into my head when I saw this news, and I reflected on the previous 2 years of Stadia, and how little Google worked on it. The only thing that pops into my head was, with everything Google does, data scrubbing.
Yeah.
They literally were here's a game service so they could scrub data on how we play games, what games we play, how we engage with them, and just sell it to other publishers and developers. I don't know. Am I cynical? Maybe, but
that wouldn't be surprising if that was the behind-the-scenes goal.
Why start an entire enterprise? And I was one, if you go back and look at the episodes, I was like, this could be a renaissance because everything they promised, it was what gamers have been waiting for. And then 2 years later, or however many years later, they put out no games. They didn't support it at all. You heard no news about it.
Yeah, they went awfully quiet.
So what was the goal? It's the same thing as what was the social network they started?
Google Plus.
Google Plus. It's just pure data scrubbing.
Yeah.
You can't trust Google. They're listening right now.
Uh-oh.
You can't trust them with anything. But that's just my cynical view. I mean, what do you think Stadia's legacy is going to be?
I think just kind of one of those video games that tried to be a little bit too far ahead of where they were in terms of technology.
You think it'll go down like Dreamcast and just be it was ahead of its time? Maybe something will survive?
Dreamcast was somewhat successful.
I mean,
I would say
there were some hits that came out on Dreamcast.
I would say this is more like what was the three? Was it 3DO? It was the one that was
3DO.
It was 64-bit before anybody knew what bits were.
Yeah,
I think it was 3DO, and everybody was like, "Huh? What's a bit?" Like nobody.
What's a bit? Yeah,
because like I think it was. Pretty sure it's 3DO. If I'm
it may have been 3DO.
Because like
or Sega Saturn.
It proved the ultimate fact that it doesn't matter the specs or how fast or the graphics. You got to have the games,
right?
You know, it had like the fastest and most detailed graphics at the time, but it didn't have any of the games you wanted to play. All the games, you know, you wanted to play your Mario, you wanted to play your Sonic, you wanted to play Mortal Kombat. Those were on Super Nintendo and Sega. It wasn't on 3DO. Nobody knew it. Nobody knew a single game that was on 3DO.
It was the first 32-bit console. I think.
There you go.
Which makes sense because everything else was 16-bit at the time, and so
yes, and like that was like its whole campaign was like do the math. We're gonna we're the best. We have 32 bits. Your systems don't have that many bits.
It was trying to do 3D before people were really doing 3D before PlayStation came on the scene. So you think it's gonna be more? I think
it's gonna be more like that. Unfortunately, that it was trying to do things that were way advanced of its time, and nobody knew how to integrate it. Nobody knew how to play it.
Right. But it makes me wonder. I wonder if any of these concepts will be taken forward.
It probably will be, but it's probably going to need to be more fleshed out and more tested. And
just like 3DO, it's going to be years.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be tomorrow or next month or next year. It's going to be 4 or 5 years.
Another generation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like the PlayStation 6 generation. Because some of the stuff, could you imagine? You have a crazy battle in a video game. You're like, oh my God, I wish my buddies could play this battle. And you save not the gameplay clip so they can watch it, but you save the gameplay. It captures, your settings and your status at the time, and you send it to them, and they replay that exact scenario. That's really cool. They never managed to do that.
No.
That was one of the things they promised, though.
Yep. But unfortunately, they couldn't deliver on it. So
no.
We shall see what the legacy of Stadia will be in the future. But with that, we got to wrap up the entertainment entree, and we got to move right to our final portion of the show. Folks, it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing.
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts! That'll be $4, baby! You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders. Go to the bathroom because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. This is a segment whose legacy will never be questioned because here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story, keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing this story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen, you don't know what's about to happen, and even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen, because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths, and I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to, and why is it always Florida?
So first off, I want to mention this is actually another user-submitted story from Joe Shepek. So thank you. You get the sausage shout-out of the week.
Sausage! Superfan Shepek.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Superfan Shepek. I like it.
Sausage! Look, if you give us material, we give you sausages and nicknames.
Sausages!
It doesn't get better than that.
No sausages. No sausages. No sausages. Sausages!
I think Frank doesn't like the fact you're giving away sausages on the air here.
Whoops.
So, our executive producer, Frank over here, yeah, he's going to make sure that's not
like
happening.
it. Yeah.
No.
But we're going to keep doing it.
We can't give away sausages, but we will give you the honorable sausage shout out.
Sausages!
And that goes for anyone when you submit a story or a topic that we talk about. That's what you get. So thank you, Superfan Shepek. I love that.
Yeah.
So thank you for the news here. He did send this to me with the tag, this isn't Florida, but it seems like the hurricane drove the Florida up to Pennsylvania.
Oh, no.
And guess what? This is actually closer than that. This story is in Lansdale.
Again?
Yeah. Is Lansdale turning into Florida?
Oh, man.
What is happening?
Oh, this is uncomfortable. Lansdale's like...
We can drive there.
Oh, yeah.
Quite easily.
Yeah, that's like 10, 15 minutes away. We can go meet this person.
Yeah. Actually, we probably can because he's in jail.
Probably bumped into him at a Wawa at some point.
We actually probably ran into him at the local Wawa. But the reason why I have to talk about this story is because, yes, this indeed happened. A Lansdale man faces indecent exposure charges.
Of course.
After he allegedly began pleasuring himself outside of a home in Lansdale.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
Yep, it's happening here in Montgomery County.
Man, this is getting way too close for comfort.
Take that, Delco. they think they're weird.
Hey, you guys don't have a monopoly on trash.
Yeah, that's right. We've got.
Just remember, Montco is bigger than you guys.
Yeah,
we got more trash statistically.
Yeah, take that.
So where in Lansdale did this atrocity take place? I would love to find out.
I think to save some face here. Let's see. Here we go. Jenkins Avenue.
Jenkins Avenue. Let's check this out.
Oh, I think that's I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head where exactly it is, but I'm surprised they gave it a specific location.
Okay, I got it right here. I don't know this specific place, but I have found it on the map.
Okay, there you go.
That means nothing to anybody. It's
how far away is the drive from the Crispy Noodle headquarters?
Let's take a look here.
I can't imagine it's that far.
It's 15 minutes
away. Oh, my
away.
God. This is 15 minutes away from where we're recording now.
It is right down the street.
Wow.
It is right down the street from a shopping center that I've gotten my hair cut at. Like, I could literally walk from the haircut place to the location where this person did the deed.
So this officially scares you?
It is frighteningly close. If you get off at the Lansdale stop on the R5...
Oh, no.
Literally 2 blocks away.
Oh, my gosh.
You can go whack it with this guy if you take the train.
Oh, my gosh, folks. We're having... this is too close. The odd news potency is getting too close to us.
Too close.
Have we caused, people to get, odd news momentum closer to us?
Are we like an odd news black hole? Like, we just, pull it in towards us?
It started in Florida, and it's slowly getting closer and closer here.
This is very alarming.
Oh, my gosh. It's crazy.
Yeah,
anyway.
man, you take 202 up north a little ways, and you're right there.
Yep.
That's right here.
Well,
so how do we avoid this fella?
Yep.
Is he officially arrested?
Yes. 72-year-old William McGahan was arrested and charged by Lansdale police last week. With misdemeanor counts of indecent exposure and disorderly conduct. According to the news report, it was alleged that first he introduced himself to his new next-door neighbor. Hello!
Oh, man.
Oh, now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
Hello.
I mean, I guess that's one way to do it. He's just trying to be friendly.
Yeah, I'm a friend. I'm super friendly.
Yeah.
I'm very open-minded.
He's got his very own confetti cannon to welcome them.
Yeah. So, according to the report from North Penn Now, it was a female neighbor.
I mean, that makes sense for how he was welcoming her.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
After the two talked, he then asked her, quote, "Do you want to come back to my house and see my massage chair?"
That is super creepy. Never say that to another fellow human being ever again. If you are going about your day and you're like, maybe this individual would like to come back to my private residence and see my massage chair, you know what? Just leave the conversation. That's a bad topic to ever broach. Don't do it.
Holy crap. You are creepy as shit.
Yes.
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 Holy crap. You are creepy as shit.
Yeah.
If I were that woman, I would have just been like, nope, and just 180'd right there.
Okay, well, that's what she did. She flat out told him, no, not interested.
Good.
And closed the door on him. But that's when...
Was he standing outside of her house?
That's when McGahan went back to his porch and started pleasuring himself right out on the porch.
God.
This is the kind of thing that just tickles my balls.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yes, just right there. You know what?
You gotta tickle the balls.
If you're not going to help me, I'm just going to get it on right here in front of your view.
I got my fingers crossed for a little freaky dinky.
He's like, you know, forget the massage chair. I don't need it. I'm doing it here on the porch.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I don't know why this entire story is like perfectly Negan. But it works.
I forgot I had all these Negan clips.
And they all work.
Yeah, it's very appropriate for this odd news story and for the end of The Walking Dead coming up. So,
Yikes.
there you go.
So he's on the porch. He's just whacking away.
Yeah, just having some fun. Officers responded. This all happened at 4 p.m. Wow.
Awesome. Like
just broad daylight. Like
broad daylight.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just, let's have some fun.
Why not?
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that just tickles my balls.
The female victim had stated that she had just moved to the area. In the complaint, it is also noted that McGahan has prior arrests. So unfortunately, this is kind of a reoccurring thing with him.
Not good.
Holy crap. You are creepy as shit.
Yup.
And William did say in the police interview that, quote, "This was just a moment of weakness."
No, I don't know about that.
Boy, yeah. You know, I just got so...
I was just
flustered.
so overcome.
I was so flustered from this lovely new neighbor. Just pants came right off.
But you're on the porch. All you have to do is open the door and step inside.
I was so just confused.
So overwhelmed.
I was so overwhelmed with emotion.
I just couldn't believe.
I couldn't get in. I couldn't open the door. I just had to do it right then and there. It was you know what? It was almost a medical emergency. I had to just.
If you don't address it, you know, it could be health problems.
Yeah, I didn't want to get backed up.
Right.
This is the kind of thing that just tickles my balls.
Yes. Unfortunately, he has a previous history of this stuff, including a recent case back in 2016.
So he's done this exact thing before.
Yes.
Wow.
He is going to be, if you're interested, he's going to have his court case October 19th, according to Patch.com.
Well, where would it be? In Norristown?
And
that's the Monco Courthouse, right?
Oh,
or
I
is
don't
there
know.
something closer in Lansdale?
That's a good question.
I mean, I'm right around the corner from the Norristown.
Either way, I think we could attend this guy's court hearing if we wanted to.
If ever there were a time for the two of us to get jury duty, it's right now.
Why can't we get jury duty for this?
Yeah, right? I'm sure it breaks some kind of law to talk about on the podcast, but like, what are they going to do? Fine me? Whatever.
Why do I get stuck with jury duty where I got to go to some court in the...
You had to go to Center City.
In Center City, yeah.
That's some BS.
Yeah, at the time I lived in Norristown, the heart of Montgomery County. I couldn't get a jury duty for that.
I'm gonna go and and see this guy.
Well, you can. His court case is coming up.
I'm going to walk in and volunteer to be a juror.
Yeah, can you just volunteer? Yeah.
Like, can I do this? Can I just, help the legal system here?
Yeah.
Volunteer my time?
Look, we featured him on the Odd News. That's not a good sign.
No.
Usually it's not a good sign if you're on the Odd News.
No, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
You're most likely going to jail if you're featured on the Odd News.
Yeah. So, and I love this part. His bail was initially set at $77.
What in the world? $77?
All right.
How does that even...
All right. You know what? We need to officially do this. We need to call the Montgomery County Correctional Facility, and we need to ask them, why did he get $77? What is the logic here?
It doesn't make any sense because it's 10%. You only have to pay 10%. So they're asking for $7.70.
So, we need to call up we need to email the Montgomery County Correctional Facility and ask them, how did you come up to this figure?
I think Pennsylvania's just not used to having
Florida
type stories, right? Because in Florida, they would have thrown out some ridiculous amount, like $10,000, whatever. Here in Pennsylvania, we literally don't know how to handle this.
Yeah.
We're too wholesome up here.
Yeah, this is a whole new ball game here for us.
It's completely wild.
This is the kind of thing that just tickles my balls.
All right. Well,
$77. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah. But he does have a court date, October 19th. So I think William McGahan, his creepiness, unfortunately, will cost him.
Holy crap! You are creepy as shit.
That is just so funny.
Yeah.
Lansdale,
right here. We could drive there.
This might be. Other than the Swiss cheese pervert, this might be the closest Odd News story. We've had several, actually, from this area over the years.
Yeah. But there you go. A local one here. And thank you to Joe Chapek for giving that one to us.
Superfan
Chapek. Yeah, I like that. I think we're going to stick with that name now.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, we got to start wrapping this up. When we get to the end of the Odd News, that means we're officially out of time. Thank you guys for supporting us, whether it's just watching the show or sending in a submission for us to talk about. And if you yourself want to support our show, make sure that you are subscribed to our video channels. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Watch Facebook Live, and we're on Spotify. You can get the video form on Spotify, or if you can't do the video form, you can listen to us in the background as a podcast like we used to be. So Spotify has all the avenues there. You can enjoy us however way you please.
That's right. So many ways to enjoy the full meal that is the Crispy Noodle podcast. But if you want to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. You can find us on Twitter and let us know what's happening. Odd news stories that you want us to talk about, go to me so that Mikey doesn't see it. Or you can send anything to @thecrispynoodle. And if we use your submission, we'll give you the sausage shout out and give you a nice little name plug here on the air. So make sure you send those ideas our way, and we'll take it under advisement. But that's what we try to do here on the Crispy Noodle podcast. The meal for your mind. We try to make it as entertaining and interactive as possible. And we just want to thank you guys again for supporting our weird little show. But we got to start wrapping this up. Folks, this has been the Crispy Noodle podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. You got anything else, Mikey?
No, hope you all have a great rest of the week.
All right. And go Phils and go Birds.
That's
Good time
right.
to be a Philly fan. So hopefully they pull it off this weekend. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.